If your business is currently not growing the way you want it to, it might be because you're not focusing on the right numbers or you're not focusing on numbers at all. So in today's episode, I'm going to walk you through the different stats I focus on to enable growth in my business. Hello, and welcome to the Fast Forward Amy Show, the show where we lift your life and business with simple strategies. I'm Fast Forward Amy, your host and coach, and I'll bring you a new episode every Tuesday. Yesterday was the first Monday of the month for me at the time of this recording, and at 2 o'clock I had my finance meeting. Now, I'm saying finance meeting, but I actually mean my numbers meeting. Every first Monday of the month, I look at the numbers throughout the different departments in my business, and I look at how they have grown or gone down, or how they've increased or gone down in the past month compared to the month before and the month before and the month before. And I do this every month. It really helps me to stay focused on everything that's happening in my business. It helps me to take kind of like a screenshot of where the company is at that specific moment. And I do this with the different department heads in the company. So we look at the sales numbers, we look at the marketing numbers. And as of today, we have a different department that's called courses and coaching. In a different company, you might have the product department or you might have the delivery department. For us, in today's day and age, we have sales, marketing, and courses and coaching. And in today's episode, I want to walk you through why I do that, but I think that's very clear because what you measure is what you know. But more importantly, I want to give you a few examples of stats that you can pay attention to in your own business to make sure your business can grow. Because I think there's a lot of literature out there about targets, goal setting, KPIs, all of that. But for me, it just means look at the stats. What you measure is what you know, because every month when I look at those numbers, I'm like, oh, holy shit, I need to do something with this. And we're getting better and better at that. For example, in the past, I've thought a few times, oh, I really need to look at these numbers with my marketing department. And then sometimes I'll forget. But for today's agenda, later today, I have a marketing meeting. I'm going to look with my team at the marketing stats, and we're going to make that a monthly thing as well. Now, I'm very numbers driven. And I'm fortunate to have a team that's also very numbers driven. So it really helps to keep everyone focused. Same with sales. We set sales targets. Like this week, we're closing a launch. We have a target for this week. We all want to nail that target. And I just know that otherwise, when we don't look at those numbers once every so often, I might start freaking out about a sales number, but someone else might be looking at the attendance rate of coaching calls and be like, hey, but it's fine because our coachees are really happy. And it's just important to get like a global view of the company. So I've created, together with my virtual assistant, an Excel file with different tabs, and it's just divided into sales, marketing, and courses and coaching. And in those different tabs, you can find many, many different stats. And now I have a ton. What I recommend for you is that you just start by tracking something. But a lot of people, the only thing they track is just literally their Instagram followers or something, or they look at how their views are doing, but they don't look at what is your monthly reach, how much cash flow is coming in, how many new visitors were on your site. And that's where I kind of want to make a difference. I'm going to do that by just walking through a few examples. And at the end of this episode, I want to ask you to define 3 different stats that you're going to be tracking for the upcoming weeks or months. I also have a sheet for you where you can fill all of that in, by the way. I use numbers for everything. As I said, what you measure is what you know is a very famous saying, but I believe what you measure is what you increase. And you can find that sheet and just download it for free through fastforwardamy.com/tracking sheet. And as always, I've linked everything in the description, so you can just go ahead and grab that Excel file and then format it according to what you want to be tracking. So for me, in terms of sales, what do I track? I look at total revenue that's been coming in, like incoming cash flow, not revenue, cash flow. So I don't look at booked sales necessarily there. I could look at it. I do that more for like launches, but I look at how much cash flow is coming in and where is that cash flow coming from? Is that coming from my BFE program? Is that coming from my BUM program? Is that coming from different passive sales? Which passive products are performing best? How many pieces have been sold of those products? I also look at how many visitors were in the shop or on the website, but that could be more of a marketing thing. Within the sales department, we are focused on sales, aka on the conversions. within the marketing department, we're more focused on the lead generation, on how many people are walking through the door or are passing the window. So we look at how many people did we gain, followers did we gain on Instagram, how many did we lose, like followers, how many people entered our email list, how many total subscribers do we have, did that grow or go down compared to last month, all of that stuff. We look at our podcast downloads, did they go up or down? And for example, a while back, we had decided to stop making fixed stories in my stories, like static stories about the podcast, because people were kind of ignoring them. And I was like, I'll just make stories like this. And then I didn't do that. And then the podcast downloads went down, is what I saw yesterday in the meeting. And then maybe that's not why they went down, you know? It might be something else. I've noticed with every lockdown, for example, podcast downloads went down because people were in the car less. Correlation is not causation. That's something that you need to know about these stats. It's not because one thing changed that is the cause of something else changing. But it does really matter that you become more and more analytical in your business and start finding correlations. So I did this for a while with my team as well. We looked at like weekly or daily at the numbers, and I was like, okay, so this happened. This was a massive change. What do you think caused that? And I always had a lot of like analytical potential causations, but it's good to teach them to think further ahead, to really look at this with an analytical mind. And it's good to teach yourself that too. So this is part of what I teach in theme 1 of our Boss Up Mentorship, namely data. I call it magic data because data is everything you need to be tracking your data in order to grow your business. So more marketing stats could be the podcast, you know, how many downloads does an episode get on the first day? That will be an indication of how excited people are about that first day. And I've seen that when I promote stuff on a Monday about, hey, the podcast is coming up on a Tuesday, and already like build anticipation that it performs much better on a Tuesday. I saw now that it dropped. It probably has something to do with the fact that I don't talk about it. It's very easy. It might be something else, but it is probably that. And then you know very quickly how to switch. I'm currently building it up towards having a weekly report of all of the numbers in my departments in my inbox every Friday by noon, by the time we wrap up. And then I can focus on those numbers Friday afternoon. And then we know, what we want to change or how we want to take action. And I think stats are so important because, for example, during launches, we've been in situations where we were like, oh, we're not selling. But we just looked at the stats of we're not selling, but we didn't look at the fact of like, hey, many people are clicking, many people are coming on the sales page, but there's something wrong there. People aren't clicking through. After a while, we learned, okay, we'll install a heat map so we can see which behavior they're doing. Maybe a link is broken. Stats can quickly give you an indication of is everything going the way it should be going, or is something wildly different. So, for example, right now at the end of our launch, we don't know if we're going to get a lot of sales, but we can kind of compare the click rate of our last couple of emails towards a previous launch. And I know that the click rate right now of people still going to the sales page is much higher than a previous launch. So that gives me the indication that there is a lot possible this week. When I can then tell my team that and actually be like, hey, these are the numbers to prove that, they become much calmer and they're like, okay, let's go after it because there is evidence. So you want to build up evidence in your business. So I already talked about it in marketing. Could be ads. Ads could, of course, lead to directly to sales or to leads. Up to you if you want to make things sales, marketing. You can also just put those two in the same box. Doesn't matter. What I was saying, by the way, about sales, some of the stats we track are people who are having failed payments of payment plans or refunds or requests or stuff like that. The reason I do that is the numbers are very, very low if you look at the percentage. But if I would see an email coming in the customer service inbox, it would kind of freak me out. I'm like, oh my God, is someone not happy? But it might be that someone is like, hey, my credit card got canceled, whatever. Looking at it in a finance meeting makes it very objective for me that I don't freak out in the meantime and start doubting my authority or skill set or whatever, and I can look at the fact that it's less than 0.1% or whatever. Just making your business less subjective, making your decision making less emotional, and just looking at the numbers really helps to get an overview. And what I do in the spreadsheet is then I see, those numbers went down, like they're lower than the month before, it becomes red. If they went up, it becomes green. So I can quickly see like, we had a great month or a great quarter, or we're kind of not doing as well as we thought. Sometimes we're doing better than I thought. Sometimes we're doing not as well. But there are always a few surprises anytime I look at those stats. In courses and coaching, we look at, are people opening up the newsletter that we send out to our coachees? How many people are opening it? How many questions are being asked in the support groups? What's the attendance rate of our calls? And from all of these different things, obviously, we will set targets and we will aim to improve something. We will look at the completion rate of assignments that we give our clients. So all of this really helps us to create focus in the different departments. And I think it also helps to just create a better communication between the different team members, because we get to look at what do we care about and what do we not care about. And I really love it. And my team loves it too. And it's very motivating. So what I want you to do right now is not necessarily look at 3 different departments in your business, but look at what are 3 things that you want to be tracking and that ideally you would like to see increasing. We could look at, for example, views of videos, podcast downloads, people on your email list. That's a big one. That's a really big bottleneck. If you don't focus on it, it is not going to increase by accident. So some of my suggestions are views, amount of sales, maybe your average order value. So that's like the average amount of money people spend when they buy from you, incoming cash flow, I don't know, maybe story views, total reach in a month. Have a look before you close down this episode. I want you to commit to 3 to go and download my tracking sheet. So that's fastforwardamy.com/tracking sheet and start filling it out. This is the simplified version of what I teach my Boss Up Mentorship clients to do, by the way. So if you're interested in getting coaching from me to scale your business, we're now in the final week of our Boss Up Mentorship launch. Send me a message if you have questions. This is so simple, yet it has such a big effect on your business. And that is the whole way I coach. Everything I say makes a lot of sense and it seems easy, but there's obviously years of things that went into it. And I teach it in an easy way so you can get really big, massive results and so you can focus on the core of your business. So if you're currently looking to scale your business, to make more revenue, to start outsourcing, to hire people, or to just get more organized so you have a really good foundation to scale on, I would love to invite you to the Boss Up Mentorship. So go and have a look on fastforwardamy.com/bum or send me a DM on Instagram or email my team@fastforwardamy.com, because we have a ton of resources. We can give you, we have our Find Your Fit form. I'll link in the description too. You can fill that out. It's fastforwardamy.com/find your fit. There you can fill out a bunch of questions and figure out which one of our programs is good for you. So would love to see you there if you are someone who wants to smash all the numbers this year. And if not, then I hope to see you again for a new episode of the Fast Forward Amy Show next week, Tuesday. And as always, remember that you can find a written recap of this episode through fastforwardamy.com/number of the episode, in this case, 131. Those were a lot of links. So through the article of the episode that's linked in the description, you can find everything. And remember to start doing this today. Don't postpone this. Every piece of data you have is going to help you to grow your business faster. So good luck and have a happy day.